News Watch never stops. This is 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
And a very good morning. It's 66 degrees. It's 7:40 on this Friday, October 27th. I'm Scott Stanford. Here's what's happening. Congressman George Santos in court today on Long Island to face those federal fraud charges, while his colleagues in D.C. are looking to send him packing. Various Jewish organizations will convene in Brooklyn today to stand in solidarity with all the hostages being held in Gaza. A second straight day of mini ground invasions for Israeli forces in Gaza, paving the way for the real deal soon to come. The NYPD tow truck driver who struck and killed a 7-year-old boy in Brooklyn has now been charged. As the World Series gets underway, the list is out of best baseball cities in America. Come on, will the top spot go anywhere else? Checking sports, Rangers and Islanders both win. D-backs and Rangers, World Series Game 1 in Texas tonight. I like the D-backs in 6. See how we do. AccuWeather, let's keep this going. Another gorgeous day, sunny, high in the mid-70s. Winds News Time, 7:41. Let's get you back out to the roads. Traffic and transit on the 1. Sue Aller, Williamsburg Bridge. What is going on there?
Nothing is going on. It's still completely closed of both ways. No cars are getting in or out with police activity on the bridge. And this is just causing a huge mess in Brooklyn and across the East River. Now, the BQE westbound delays start right around Roosevelt Avenue all the way down to the Manhattan Bridge. So to avoid the BQE westbound delays, go with Flushing Avenue to the Manhattan Bridge. You have no issues getting into Manhattan at the Manhattan Bridge or the Brooklyn Bridge, but big delays coming back to Brooklyn at both those bridges. We're also seeing extra volume at the Queens Midtown Tunnel and both ways at the 59th Street Bridge. This is also causing subway service train delays on the J trains. We're completely suspended, and that's between Delancey Street and Marcy Avenue. The M trains are also suspended between 57th Street and Myrtle Avenue with this police activity on the bridge. Now, here's what you need to know about the rest of the bridges and tunnels. You got 30 minutes at the inbound George, Lincoln and Holland, Brooklyn-bound Verrazano Bridge, upper level. There is an accident. One lane is closed, and heading into Staten Island at the Atterbridge Crossing, another breakdown. Go with the Goethals Bridge. But good news in Queens, we had a car fire southbound on the Cross Island at Jamaica Avenue. That has been cleared away. And here's what we see along Island's Big 3, eastbound Southern State at Deer Park Avenue. Construction taking down 2 lanes and just volume delays on the westbound side of the Northern and the LIE heading into your Queens line. I'm Sue Aller. Our next report at 7:51. 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
Well, George Santos heads to federal court today in Central Islip. The congressman facing a number of fraud charges.
It could be another circus of protests, cameras, reporters, and Congressman George Santos screaming he is innocent at the federal courthouse in Central Islip today, as Santos is set to appear before a judge to answer to the charges of fraud against him. Santos is accused of using political donor credit card information for personal use, including for luxury designer clothing, credit card and car payments, and payments on personal debts. Sophia Hall, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM in Suffolk County, Long Island.
Meanwhile, in D.C., Santos is staring at an expulsion from Congress. There was a resolution introduced weeks ago, but it stalled in the House. But now that they have a new speaker, Long Island Republican Anthony D'Esposito is trying to advance that resolution next week. Here he is on the House floor.
Whereas George Santos has a long history of misrepresenting his and his family's connections to major events, including the Holocaust, September 11th terrorist attacks, and the Pulse nightclub shooting.
Santos yesterday calling for due process, and this expulsion talk, he says, is all just political games. Wins News Time, 7:44. Several Jewish organizations getting together at the Brooklyn Museum today to stand in solidarity with the 200-plus hostages being held by Hamas in Gaza.
Organizers are saying this will be a large and emotional show of solidarity along Eastern Parkway. We spoke with one of the organizers, Yaakov Behrman, the founder and president of the Jewish Future Alliance.
We want people to see that we're thinking about these hostages and we care about them dearly, and they're in our minds and in our hearts every moment of the day.
He tells us there'll be a large table with more than 200 settings set up, and each chair alongside with a photo of a different hostage.
In our house, we have a list of all the hostages, and every morning, every Sabbath morning, we read the names of all the hostages, and we say psalms.
And this will begin 2:30 this afternoon. Glenn Schuck, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM in Brooklyn.
Well, the Pentagon says the U.S. military launched airstrikes on 2 facilities used by Iran's Revolutionary Guard in eastern Syria. The strikes, they say, are in retaliation for a slew of drone and missile attacks against American bases and personnel in the region in recent days.
A senior military official said we hit precisely what we aimed at. The strikes were intended as a warning to Iran to order the militias it supports not to conduct more attacks on American locations. Let's be clear, a senior defense official said, Iran is responsible. One of the officials who briefed reporters added, we're ready to do it again if the attacks don't stop.
That's correspondent David Martin. Israeli forces with the second ground raid into Gaza. The IDF, backed by fighter jets and drones, hitting targets on the outskirts of Gaza City.
Ambulances raced through Gaza after Israel said it carried out about 250 strikes in the last day. The military says it's targeting Hamas infrastructure, but a growing number of civilians are caught in the crossfire, and hospitals are struggling to treat the injured while running low on fuel and supplies.
It's correspondent Tina Kraus. These smaller ground raids are said to be paving the way for what will be a full Israeli invasion into the Hamas-ruled territory. U.S. officials, by the way, announced a second round of sanctions today against people and organizations linked to Hamas, including members of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard. Wins News Time, 7:46. That NYPD tow truck driver who struck and killed a 7-year-old boy yesterday in Brooklyn has now been charged with failure to exercise due care and a failure to yield to a pedestrian. That driver is a civilian, not a police officer. The family of that boy is looking for answers.
There is grief and anger here at the Whitman houses. Tyrana Carter ran to help the anguished mother.
I think I was crying more than her because to see a devastation like that, she just kept screaming and they killed my baby, and it's like unimaginable.
Police say the 54-year-old female tow truck driver was making a right-hand turn from Myrtle to North Portland Avenue when she struck the boy who was riding a scooter in the crosswalk.
And all she had to do was take 5 minutes to slow down.
The driver's actions are under investigation. Marla Diamond, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM in Fort Greene, Brooklyn.
And police are still investigating as detectives are interviewing witnesses and looking at surveillance video from the street. There are MTA workers who just look out for riders who don't pay the fares. They're called Eagle Team. One team member got a little more than he bargained for when one fare evader got violent.
It happened on an M15 SBS bus at 34th and 1st Avenue.
Punched in the face. Turns out that employee actually had cataract surgery last week, so there's actually an additional medical concern.
Transit President Richard Davey says the MTA Eagle Team member spent 8 hours in the ER and is expected to be okay. So what's the Eagle Team?
Our first line of defense to ensure that the basic rules of conduct in our system, you're not menacing our employees, you're paying your fare.
Brandon Barnett has been arrested and charged with assault. Davey says in 27% of felony assaults in the transit system, the victims are cops or MTA workers. Mac Rosenberg, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
Wins News Time, 7:48. Somebody found a body in a garbage bag in the Bronx yesterday morning. Police say the bag was sitting at 2225 Lacombe Avenue in Castle Hill around 9 a.m. The medical examiner's office is looking into the cause of death. Police are investigating as they are on the hunt for a killer. Hey, you remember that story we told you about 2 weeks ago? There was a guy who was attacked by 3 men in the Bronx. These thugs hit the victim in the head with a machete. They stole his wallet, took his shirt, and only one shoe. It's the one shoe that really jogs your memory there, I'd assume. Well, police released a photo of one of the suspects yesterday. That photo is up on 1010wins.com. Go take a look. The attack happened October 12th at the train station at East 180th Street, Mars Park Avenue. The 20-year-old victim is still in stable condition. Hey, so Mike Johnson was on the job as Speaker of the House for just a day and was already over at the White House for talks on the president's national security funding request.
The talks were with White House staffers and congressional leaders, including the new House Speaker, although the president did make the case before the meeting on the need for the emergency funding. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre says Mr. Biden is confident about getting support for the bill.
We have seen a strong bipartisan support for the national security supplemental. I think obviously that includes Ukraine and Israel.
As for whether the president could work with the new speaker, a self-proclaimed MAGA Republican, Jean-Pierre said the president believes it's time to move forward.
That's Linda Kenyon reporting. WINS News Time 7:50. We will get you back out to the roads, get a check on the Williamsburg Bridge. If you have to head that way, go a different direction. Do not go near the Williamsburg Bridge right now.
Hey, did you know Vistaprint prints everything a small business needs?